right. All right, so we live already. We live. All right. So, we're waiting for some motherfuckers to come in. All right, this is totally spontaneous. All right. All right. This nigga had no idea we was about to do this shit. So, it's your boy K-Blao with X. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there with fucking Mysterio alone.
Yeah. Man,
Hold on. Let me get this shit straight. So the Friday's late night. This is totally spontaneous. That button? This shit over there by your ass, nigga. Hold on, that shit ain't gonna work. Fuck it. Maybe we should switch. Yeah, let's switch.
Yeah, why not? Better.
Aha, alright. Hold on, let me move the fuck over. Alright, so it's your boy K-Blao with X. Let's see what the fuck we got in. Okay, motherfuckers coming in. Yeah, alright, so I'm here with Jae Can, you know what I'm saying? He's from Houston. This is totally spontaneous. He had no idea. We were sitting there listening to Gucci Man. We cut the shit off in the middle of it. Just started the interview. You know what I'm saying? So I want to just run you on here, you know what I'm saying, to get you to introduce yourself to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I know you got your own channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put a link in the description. You know what I'm saying? I just want to have you introduce yourself and let motherfuckers know who you is, what you do. You know what I'm saying? Your story, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what the fuck this is. You know,
yeah, what up? It's your boy, Jae Can, Elevated Frequency. For those who don't know who I am, as K-Blao just said and introduced me, I am from Houston by way of Northern California, the Bay Area. Shout out to Bay Area. Oakland, Vallejo, Richmond, San Francisco, stand up. But shit, we just out here, man. A little bit about me, if you don't know my backstory. I know this is an astrology channel. You guys are into astrology.
This is not an astrology channel.
You guys are weirdos. But I am an Aries by nature and, just transitioning, man. Just going through a transitional period. And the content will be back up for those who do follow me. For those of my fellow followers, I will be back at it.
All right, so I wanted to get you on here because I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, just drill you with some questions, you know what I'm saying? But before I drill you, I just wanted to know, is there anything that you don't want me to ask you about? You know, I know it's spontaneous, but is there anything that you don't want me to ask you about?
No.
All right, so
care.
you can answer this however you want to answer, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to start off by, like you said, this Jae Can's from Houston, you know what I'm saying? How did we meet each other?
We met through the internet. We met through your channel, actually.
Right?
Off of Why I Hate Sagittarius video.
Okay. How did that happen? Tell me how did that, like, how did, you know what I'm saying, give me the...
And rundown?
Yeah, however you want.
Short
you know
version. We'll keep it short. We'll keep it in. I was in a relationship with a Sagittarius, and, it got to the point where I didn't really understand what the hell I was looking at. I thought I understood what I was looking at, but I realized... You talking about my video? You know what I'm saying? Just Sagittarius nature. They say you need context to surround your thoughts. And I didn't have the right context surrounding the thought or idea of a Sagittarius. I thought I understood it. But, as I started to tap into more of myself, I started to realize I didn't know what the hell I was really looking at. So I went to the internet like most people late at night, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, scratching my head like, what the fuck is going on? And, the more deeper I dove into Sagittarius, just the energy of Sagittarius, you run into the usual bullshit tarot readings and bullshit, astrology, zodiac traits. And, it wasn't answering the questions that I really needed answered. So as I dove in deeper, I started finding, darker traits of the zodiac. And then that's when I came across your channel. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? He's saying everything that I'm questioning right now.
All right, so just to fall back on what you said, you was in a relationship with a Sagittarius.
Right.
You was up late night looking for what? Negative traits? What was you looking for?
You know, who really knows? Negative traits, really, something to explain what the fuck I was looking at. Yeah, negative traits. Yeah, definitely
Okay.
negative traits.
Why was you looking at negative traits?
Because I kept seeing patterns.
What pattern?
Of behavior. And I didn't know if this was women nature. I didn't know if this was, something that I had did and triggered in her, or was this Sagittarius shit. And I needed discernment. I didn't have any discernment. I'm like, okay, what is this?
What made you look it up for Sagittarius? Like, what made you even look at it from an astrology standpoint? There's a lot of different ways you could have looked at what you was looking at, but what made you say, okay, Sagittarius? Do you even remember? Or
I really don't remember, but I think I had jumped into, I've always been into astrology somewhat. Just on the surface, looking at, zodiac readings for the day. And it was something about when I learned that she was the same sign as like Jay-Z. And I started paying attention to Jay-Z, the way he acted, the way he mimicked things. And for some reason that hit home to me.
So you saw Jay-Z in your woman?
I saw...
That don't even make sense on the spoken level.
Right,
but I'm following what you're saying. Right. So you saw Jay-Z. What aspects of Jay-Z did you see in your Sagittarius woman?
She's a biter. And I remember Cameron making a song about Jay-Z being a biter. And, this has followed Jay-Z his whole career. Just the fact that he always bites people. And I'm big on hip-hop like most people are big on hip-hop.
She used to bite off you or bite off others?
Me.
What's your wife though?
Right. I never minded it until.
How long was y'all married?
We've been together for 12 years.
Where did y'all meet? How did y'all meet?
We met.
Let's back up for a second.
She's my wife. Shout out to my ex. She's from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? She's from New Orleans. And I met her after Hurricane Katrina. I had just moved down to Houston and I was out there doing my thing, doing the music. And I met her, after Hurricane Katrina. She was what they called a refugee. And met her waiting tables.
In Houston. Okay.
And we started hanging out, and
you were Aries. Right. So you were a fellow fire sign. So when y'all first met, y'all connected.
We connected just off this hanging out, just the spontaneous energy, just hanging out, going to clubs, laughing, just.
You had no sign.
Shit.
She had no red flags. Nothing to give you.
Sure, there were red flags, but when you're in the lust chamber, you're just looking at it for what it is,
Right. Okay.
Sure, there were red flags.
All
Absolutely.
Right. So, fast forward, how long later for the actual, it started to fall apart? How long was y'all married for?
Man, we were married for 4 years.
Okay, so fast forward 4 years, you saying she's biting off you.
Right.
How did we get from the lust chamber to she's biting off you?
When you're with a woman, if you're a good man, you are basically, implanting, what do they say about women? Like they're impressionable, right? And the man is normally the pattern for that. So I'm an Aries. I don't have to be out in front of the spotlight, for me to do my thing. I kind of like set the stage. And like she was perfect for everything that I was trying to, implement in her. She had an outgoing personality. And, when I met her, she was trying to sing. I was doing the music thing. She came to me with a demo and found out that was not her stage. But, what I also learned about her was that she can mimic things very well. So if you just gave her the right script, she could run the script. So we had her doing a whole bunch of things. And I started to learn that everything that I gave her, whatever kind of game I was giving her, whether it was, how to build resumes, how to, invest in different, schemes and shit.
Right.
She was picking up on the game. But what I found,
That's a bad thing?
No. Here's where it got bad.
What's the problem?
When she was around her friends and other people, she would give off the information to them as if it was her information. And how this played out negatively is when she started getting around, the social crowd that she wanted to be around. She used to try to play me as if the information didn't come from me.
So she forgot
that I was even the source of this. And,
Did that bothered you?
Not at first. I'm an Aries, we at the front of the thought. So, it really didn't bother me at first until I started paying attention to her and watching subtle things that she did, subtle ways that she moved, and I started to learn that, okay, she really think I'm corny. And she has totally forgot that everything that she has gotten from a social status, came from me.
So when you talk about Jay-Z as a biter, how did you start? So this was the first dot you started to connect as a Sagittarius. That
right,
she was
right, and like, just untamable energy. You know, you can try to implement something and try to set up some kind of structure, and it's just like you cannot hold this woman down to anything. And I'm not a very controlling person at all. You know, like I let people be who they are. What I liked about her was her free spirit. You know, but it was just reckless. It was just all over the place. And I could never implement any kind of structure trying to be a husband. You know, we had a child, you know, trying to get her to be just a person that we can implement structure. Okay, clean up, cook your son dinner, do the homework with the child.
Right.
Nothing that I
she
could
wasn't.
She wasn't.
So how do you know that that was a Sagittarius trait per se? And that like when you were we'll go back to when we were talking about attaching to astrology, and that like it's a lot of people who don't have no structure. What is it about the aspect of astrology that eventually led you to my channel and the things that I was saying that made sense as far as, you know, the information you looking up, not being able to find it, but then eventually finding my channel and listening to what I was saying, it made sense on an astrology level. How did you connect them dots as far as it was like, okay, this is a Sagittarius thing. She don't have no structure. She's biting. She's like, how did do you even remember how you connected them dots?
It's kind of vague to me. I don't really remember, but that's a great question, by the way. Going through all the stuff that I was going through.
Why was it astrology? Basically, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, it could have been any, you know, you could have, it's millions of blogs on the internet. So, like, what was it about specifically astrology, Sagittarius, and then my video that gave you what you was looking for? Like, you know, what?
Just reading the different Sagittarius traits.
I've never dated a Sagittarius. You see what I'm saying? Right. So, I've never married a Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? So, me just talking about Sagittarius traits, what was different about mine that gave you the answers that you was looking for?
Everything.
Especially on an astrology level. I guess that's the question I'm trying to...
you know, reading through all the different astrology information, different zodiac things, it was philosophy was a key thing. Spirited. And when I think about philosophy, I think about somebody that really doesn't know something. It's somebody that is has a general idea about something, but has never really been in that frame. You know, it's like philosophy about a certain thing. And with her, the information was always coming from me. So when she would try to speak about this stuff to her friends or whatever, it was no real concrete reference point for her. It was just always some secondhand information that she got. So I started to read that and I started to cross-reference that with other astrology information that I was looking up. And
did it still bother you as much once you connected that dot, or did it make sense and you looked at it more like she couldn't help herself?
It was still bothering me. It was still bothering me.
You were still in the red pill rage.
Yeah, because I didn't really understand still like why she was doing it. I'm like, okay, I'm your husband. You know, so at the same time, what's mine is yours, but I don't understand why you have to, like, shit on me. Like,
so did the information help you or make it worse?
It made it worse. Because once I started to really look it up and I started to hit home, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I can't stop.
Do you wish that you never found the answer based on the fact that it made it worse? Do you wish that you didn't know what you found?
Absolutely not. I always think that and I think you said this, it's better to know than not to know.
But from your perspective, just in your life, as far as your life story, going through what you was going through at the time, trying to find the answers that you found them, you thinking that this is gonna make it better, then you go through some things and realize it made it worse. Going back, just from that moment right there, do you think that it was good to find the information, or if you could pause right there in your life, would you go back and wish that you never had found what you had found?
I think that it was good to find the information. I think the way that I went about it was, I'm not going to say it was wrong, but I wish I would have redone the way I went about finding the information and then trying to impose that information on her, thinking it was going to change her. That only exacerbated the situation.
Okay, so pause. Let's take a step back. You're an Aries man, you're with a Sagittarius woman. She's showing these traits. You don't know exactly what you're looking at. You're researching different things. You come across astrology. You realize she's a Sagittarius. You start to research negative Sagittarius traits. You start to find answers that made sense. You start to share these answers with the Sagittarius woman, thinking
that she was going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know this about myself.
Right.
Let me try to research this information and see what you're looking at and see if I can step outside of myself and look at this so that we can help the union.
Right, holistically. Right. This is what you're thinking.
This is what I'm thinking.
It's okay. So you share with her, but the actual reaction is
backfire. I mean, can't tip the scales. Once she started realizing I was looking at this, of course, like anybody, she felt that I was trying to judge her. She felt that I was trying to size her up. And all it did from a fire sign standpoint was I challenged her. And, that's when the mask came on. And it got, worse.
At that point, did you wish that you had never found what you had found at some point?
Yes, absolutely. Because once I started to go down the rabbit hole, there was no turning back. Because what I was finding was
How did this play out? As far as, like you telling her and her not receiving it, like, give me a,
It played out like this. I found your video on top of a lot of other stuff that I was researching. Some of the stuff was recommended by you on your channel, like the Secret Language of Birthdays. I ordered that book, bought that, and was just doing a whole bunch of research, just ordering just different personality books, different astrology books, and I started to, instead of me talking, because I'm Aries and I'm Cardinal, so I do talk, and mutable fire.
Right.
She doesn't like that, the Sagittarius.
She's Sagittarius, right? So she want to talk.
Exactly.
Right.
So I started trying to switch up my pattern. I'm like, okay, let me just let her see the information if it's coming from.
So wait, so you weren't.
I wasn't.
So like when you sitting there holding your phone, like, okay, watch this.
No,
how was you literally
Because she worked during the day.
So you just send it to her.
I would send it to her on a text. Like, hey, you should check this out. Hey, I saw this video, man. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Check it out. See what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, I started getting the negative text. Why are you sending me this? I don't want to look at this. Stop sending me this. It turned into that.
But you weren't expecting this
at all. I thought you.
What were you expecting to come through the phone?
Open-minded. Like Sagittarius is known for being open-minded. This is what the positive traits say about Sagittarius.
So you never saw this as like straight suicide. What the fuck you doing?
Never saw this. And I'm like, wait, I done been through the trenches.
She should be able to watch this video
objectively
and what?
Have a conversation.
Laugh.
Not even laugh. Just have a conversation about it. Yeah, laugh. Sure. She had a great sense of humor, I thought.
Okay, so you send it. She's giving you negative texts. Absolutely. You do what?
Keep going.
You keep going?
Keep hitting her with it.
You kept hitting her with it even though she told you she didn't want to hear it?
Yeah.
Did you attribute the fact that she didn't want to hear it to her negative Sag traits?
Not at first. Aries from the thought. I'm like, nah, she's just being negative right now. If I keep drilling and keep giving her helpful insight with articles and descriptions and breakdowns, she'll be open-minded to this. Got my son, who's a Gemini, got him watching it, so he's a second party in this, so he was helping me with the attack, and it just, everything that we tried to do just backfired in a negative way. Big time.
So, over time, you're still sharing this information with her. Do you attribute your revelations and the things that you learned toward? Do you attribute that to the reason why the marriage failed? The astrology videos, the things you learned, you keep sharing her with. Do you attribute that to?
I don't know if that's fair to say that I attribute it. Partly, sure. Yeah.
Why you say you don't think it's fair to say that?
Well, because we had other issues.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Without getting into the other issues, do you think that had you not learned what you learned, that you'd still be together?
If I wouldn't have shared it with her, yes.
Without sharing it with her, just learning what you learned, like you saying, it may have played out a different way, but just with the information that you learned, do you think that you still could have, like right now today, do you think you still could have been with her knowing the things that you...
No.
So you were legitimately trying to, what, fix...
I wasn't
change
really, I don't
her?
know if
Like,
I was trying to fix her or change her. I just wanted her to be enlightened like I was. It's like I learned the things about, Aries, the negative side about myself, all of the negative traits. I went through my whole natal chart and really learned myself and really was going through, enlightenment. I was really trying to find out who I was, why I was acting the way that I was, the bad patterns in my life, and really was trying to get to my higher self. And, I thought that my wife, my partner, was on the same page as me because she, was a good actor and saying that that's what she was about as well. And, once I started to really get into this and I really started to make the changes necessary, not the bullshit, I really was on it. I really was working out. I really got on my health thing. I really started reading more. I really started practicing what I was preaching. I wasn't just out there just standing on the soapbox, just, trying to dictate to my wife. That's not the person that I am at all. I really thought I had a partner in this. So sharing this information, what I was hoping, and maybe hindsight 2020, I'm looking back at it like, okay, I shouldn't have did anything. But I really thought at that time, naive maybe, that she was going to be open to the information. I really did.
So overall, would you say that what you learned has benefited or hurt you more so?
Man, that's a great question. What did it say? The sword has two sides.
You got two sides of the blade can stab you either way. Right. So
it's both.
Would you say that? I mean, go ahead. I'm listening.
It was both. It hurt me, from a personal standpoint, because nobody wants to realize that what you in your mind, what you think.
Ain't no Santa Claus, man.
Right. That shit right there. That shit.
Ain't no Santa Claus
at all. So it's that. It's learning the truth. No matter what it's going to do to you, some people make a choice to stay in truth and stand on truth. And some people, rather go back into their own, fighting for their own reservation and want to stay who they perceive that they really are.
So, okay. So, just to recap, you sharing the information with her, it's not going right. Eventually, this leads to some type of explosive, I'm guessing, some type of explosive situation that eventually was what they say, the straw in the camel's back that broke the whole situation. We're not getting into the specifics. Right. Eventually, I'm guessing it was some type of explosive fucking event, right?
Mind you, I'm laughing on the outside, but,
Right. So, this played out into a full-blown divorce.
Got ugly.
Right?
Yeah.
At this point, how are you looking at the situation? You know what I'm saying? As far as it's totally unraveling into a full-blown divorce, and you know what I'm saying? How are you looking at the situation?
Clarity.
Damn.
Yeah, I see it very, very clearly. Knowledge and wisdom only gives you clarity, and I'm able to discern, what the real from the fake. I mean, I think that's the most important thing, the viewers that watch your channel. I think that's what everybody is looking for, is just clarity. We're living in a time right now where things are coming really, really fast. We're getting bombarded with more and more fake shit. And, for me, and I hope this is true for the people that are tuned in and the people that subscribe to your channel, you're looking for clarity. Regardless of what it does to you personally, how it makes you feel emotionally, clarity.
So you're developing clarity as the situation is unfolding.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the whole divorce is playing out. But I'll get into the specifics of everything. You know what I'm saying? You and your son. Tell me about that relationship.
That's always been a strong bond between me and my son. I didn't take fatherhood lightly. Being that my father and my mother are still married, I've always been able to find my father. Like my dad was not ever out of my life. I can't ever remember a time where, was on a vacation, my dad wasn't there. any point in my life where I couldn't reach out to my father. So I wanted to make sure that I implemented that, same pattern with my son. So I raised my son. I was always fortunate to have.
What happened? I would say after the divorce. I get that y'all got a good bond, but
strained. The relationship.
What happened during the? Go ahead.
The relationship was strained between me and my father. For circumstances.
No, with your son. I'm saying with your son.
Yeah, with me and my son. Yeah, for situations, of course, that I couldn't control. With the court, with the ex-wife.
Okay, so as a Sagittarius wife with a Gemini son, how did it? What did you see that supported the stereotypes of what we talk about? The horoscope or show. Like, what supported your clarity that you talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gemini and Sagittarius is opposite energies. So everything that transpired when I was
so you got a Gemini son with a Sagittarius mom. Okay.
Yeah, totally opposite energies. And my son is always, man, this dude is not from this planet. Like, he's been here before. And, my son has always had this sense of, using the word clarity, with everything. And, without getting into too much detail about what happened, the explosive end to my relationship, my son has always been aware of everything that was going on between me and his mother. And, up until us actually separating, up until us actually getting a divorce, I've been very transparent with him, and he's been very aware of everything that's been going on, all the procedures, all the talking, all of the back and forth. And, it's been coming painfully clear to me that, as a Sagittarius, I hate to say this, man, because it's male versus female. If there's female viewers out there, it might look like I'm just bashing the female, but it's like, he always came second to her. Like, it was like an accessory to her under the Sagittarius chamber. It's like, she was never mom the way that she tried to present it to everybody else on social media, and he knows this. It's like, you can't fake authenticity. You say this all the time.
What do you mean she's not mom? That's
meaning
a
she
wide statement.
It is. Let me try to hone it.
What do you mean?
She was never there day to day in the trenches with him, raising him, implementing tradition, implementing any kind of culture with her son, any kind of real bond with her son. She was never there. Like, she was always out under the Sagittarius chamber, just out. And I entertained a lot of that goofiness early on because I'm a fire sign myself, hanging out, partying, doing all this stuff. But, like, the priority of just being a mother was never there for her. It was always in the background, and that was unfortunate. And I saw that early on. And so I always,
How much you associate to a Sagittarius versus just her as a person?
A lot. I mean, as you go into, the Sagittarius chamber, especially if you watch your video, it kind of dissects, the nature of a Sagittarius. Especially when it comes to, like, I think you said your stepfather was Sagittarius, and, like, you gave a lot of good, stories about just Sagittarius parents. I think you referenced, like, the dad from American Pie, like, just how clueless they are when it comes to, like, their children, like, the day-to-day things that go on with their children. Like, they're just oblivious to this because, like, in their world, like, it's like, they're like, actors on the stage, and it's like, okay, wait, you're a co-star in this. You're not really that important unless you're in this actual scene with me. But I need you to be in this scene. Like, that's how it kind of played out for me, from my perspective.
Is it better to know this or not know this in your world?
Absolutely.
Not from their world, not from just in your world. Is it better to know?
In my world, it's absolutely better to know this than to not know this.
Why?
Because you can go your whole life clueless and not know that you're playing the fool. And under the Aries verse, playing the fool is something that we do very, very well. And I didn't want to play the fool anymore. Some people play the fool on purpose, and some are oblivious to the fact that they're playing the fool.
You didn't want to play the fool no more.
Not at all. Whether by choice or not.
So, if you are Aries male and you're in a relationship with a Sagittarius woman, what advice would you give to a viewer?
Man, Sagittarius are there for your entertainment. If you ever take it out of the entertainment arena, she gonna take your ass to the chamber. So be ready. Like, just be ready for that. Like, understand, like, this is I seek is a key word. So this is a person that's trying to find something that they probably are never going to find.
That's wanderlust. That's
exactly.
Wanderlust.
Yeah. Big keyword, wanderlust. It's just like they're always seeking something. So, I mean, the best thing to do with the Sagittarius is keep it in that realm. Like, keep it fun, keep it light. Be their fan, be their cheerleader. Like, if they're
why couldn't you do this? Could you, if you was watching this,
it was too far
and you was hearing yourself say this, could you do what you saying? Why couldn't you do this?
I learned too much. I knew too much to ever allow myself.
So do you even believe what you said? Like, can you take your own advice in this, or is it just is it too intrinsic at this point?
I could take my own advice. I think, like I said earlier, I went a little too far, too quick under the Aries verse, in front of the thought. I could have fell back and really played it to my advantage and stayed in that situation if I wanted to. But I went too far, too fast, and, I went to the point of no return. And we tried to salvage it, but
it's too late.
It was way too late.
So what advice would you give to a Sagittarius woman who's with an Aries man?
Playing with fire from the jump.
What?
You're playing with fire from the jump. Know that you're playing with fire. Know that there's a back and forth that goes on between fire signs. And if you're a Sagittarius woman, like, try to really understand what an Aries is. An Aries doesn't really need the stage or the spotlight like a Sagittarius needs. An Aries is good at just setting the stage for you to do your Sagittarius shit in. So
wait. What?
Yeah.
Say that. Oh, wait. What?
Right. An Aries male does not need the spotlight. Even though we are fire signs, we can, go to the party, hang out, be sociable at the party. We don't need the spotlight that the Sagittarius needs. We don't need to always be, the center of attention. And I'm not talking Leo center of attention. I'm just talking,
got it. Okay.
Understand your Aries male. Like, understand your Aries spouse. Understand that we are here to set that stage for you. You want to see, we like to travel too. We like to do the things that you like to do. But we don't have to turn up and then be, putting our life on the line with that aspect of it. Like, we know how to, balance it a little bit better. So, my advice is try to understand your Aries male a little bit more and understand that you are sharing the spotlight instead of thinking that this is
all yours. What do you give to Sagittarius woman in general, even without an Aries male? Like, what advice would you give to Sagittarius woman in general?
Standing too close to the damn TV. Stand back.
So
stop putting on so much damn makeup. Fall back a little bit. Like, damn.
Damn, that was fucked up.
All the makeup, all the extra shit, it's a front. It really is a front. Like, stop fronting. Be real with yourself. Like, really learn a real skill and implement that and stick with it. Like, don't always try to be so false with everything that you do, because a lot of times you don't know that other people are looking at you and we know that you're fronting. Whether you don't know that we know that you're fronting. So, be more authentic, especially nowadays. Like, people can really, got social media. The personalities don't always collide with the personality that you're presenting on social media and who you are in real life. Like, they don't really balance that well. They think that they can still be that persona that they're trying to give off, like, behind closed doors. It's like, dude, I know who you are. Like, we can stop the act. And they just can't.
They keep this shit going. We call it the Wizard of Oz, though. In her ex, we call it the Wizard of Oz avatar. For fire sign, the Wizard of Oz avatar is you look at the scene of Wizard of Oz, and when they walk up on him, and they got the smoke and the fire, and what do you want? Go away. And they like, oh, wizard, and So, my friend Mako had told me once, he was in an argument with a Leo, and Leo kept telling him, referring to him as his last name. He was like, call me Mr. Johnson, you know. And he's like, nigga, what? Man, he was his nephew. Michael was older than this nigga. You know, but he was like, I don't want to talk to Mr. Johnson. I want to talk to, his Charles, whatever his name. I ain't gonna say his name, And I remember him saying that he just could not get out of that front, and he's like, man, call me by my last name. And I was like, what the fuck did that do? Like, what satisfaction do you get by calling him from his last name? And when I hear you say stuff like how people can't get out of that, mind frame once they get into it, it confirmed to me what Michael was saying. And then, like, when you're dealing with fire signs, it's like a business front, I guess, or like I don't want to say business front because it ain't just business. It's like they do this shit all, like what.
I mean, that's the best way to put it. It's a business front, but you just got to personify it. It's a business front. They're fronting all the time. I mean, it's supreme ego. Like imagine like Jay.
But I don't think she knows she's doing this.
She don't know. She don't know that she's doing it. At least I don't think she knows. She can't know. I mean, because it's too cartoonish for her to know that she's doing that. Like, I mean,
right. So, how do you deal with this shit then?
Ignore it is the best way, and just say, okay, this person's here to entertain me. Laugh at her jokes, the corny stuff that she says, the things that she do. Appreciate
the superficial.
Right. Yeah, that's the only way that you can survive with a Sagittarius. Because if not, like, just get ready. If you can't appreciate the superficial, like if you can't deal with the person that's gonna be a false self, always on camera, like it's like living with a reality TV star. That's not really a reality TV star, but like in her mind, R6 is like she's a reality TV star, and like you can never get her out of that mind frame. 24/7. It's
There's
like
a camera recording all the time.
All the time.
In the mind of
all the time. Like, why are you putting on all this makeup right now? We're going to the store. Like, why do we have all of this shit in the bathroom? Like, why? God bless anybody that can deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like Sagittarius, like I'm not shitting on Sagittarius at all. Like they're blast to hang around. I had a great time with her. We traveled all the time. We laughed. We shared a lot of good times, a lot of good things. But
if you could go back, what would you change about the whole? Would you change anything in what you?
I wouldn't have married her. I would have kept it just cool. Just had that as a friend, to kick it with and hang out with, grab a beer, go to the club, go to a party, go to an event with, things like that, and just kept it right there in that frame. I would have never tried to, bring her over to a relationship and like try to have a real life, a real relationship.
Mm.
I would have never done that because it wasn't fair to her. Like that's not what, deep down with any Sagittarius, that is not what they want. I don't give a hell what they're fronting on, what they're trying to tell you. They do not want a relationship. Trust me. Trust me, they do not want a relationship. Like any Sagittarius that's listening to this, be real with yourself, be real with your spouse, be real with your partner, whoever you with, you really do not want a relationship.
Yeah.
So stop the bullshit.
What do they want?
A fan. They want a cheerleader. If you work in the same, industry or any same field as them, they want somebody that they can flirt and, play that kind of game with, But like they don't want a relationship.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't be that.
Not me. Nah, I'm too old. I can't do that. Nah. I want something more. I want something more than just the fake back and forth, playing off the aloofness of the fact that I don't know that you're a character 24/7. I can't do that. At some point, the camera, the camera has to stop rolling, and like we have to get real.
So where you at now? You've been dating, talking to new.
Yeah, man. Been getting my.
Well, you say the fire sign, earth sign, water sign.
All of them. I've been really trying to explore, the different signs.
Anybody, not without naming anybody special?
Not nobody special. Just hanging out, just keeping it casual, protecting my heart. I think your heart is worth protecting. So I'm just keeping it casual, just hanging out. Fire sign, earth sign, water sign, air signs. Just chilling, man. Being myself. Trying to get my groove back.
Right. Any patterns you've noticed just in the new women that you dated, or any
Yeah, I should not know the shit that I know. Like, I should not
what
know
do you mean?
the shit. I mean, when you really, really understand astrology, when you really understand, especially the negative traits of a sign, like, it's hard for you to fall into the predictable patterns that they are going to be subjected to, and like they can't see it. And for me, it's hard for me to not tell them, like, stop. If you keep going, like, you're going to fall into a ditch, and like it doesn't matter. They're going to do it anyway, and I know this, so it's hard for me to like really take a lot of these.
Well, it's the same thing you basically said with your wife.
Right, it's tough.
So you're trying to tell them,
right, the patterns, and like you can't. Like, I've learned from my wifey, I can't tip the scale, so I try my best to just try to just appreciate these signs for what they are and what they bring to the table, and not ever try to bring any drama, and not ever try to act like I know how this movie is gonna end, even though I know how the movie is gonna end. Like, that's the unfortunate part about this.
damn.
It's like, yo, I know, okay, this is an earth sign, this is a Virgo. I know how this is gonna play out. She's gonna objectify me, and we're gonna do the back and forth, and like she's gonna nitpick and be insecure, and at the same time trying to front. Like, it's just hard.
Just sit back and watch it play out.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Like, you gotta really be a great actor. Seriously. Play this game. You gotta be a great actor.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as far as relationships? When do you see yourself getting married again, staying single, being serious? Like, where do you want to be in next?
Definitely not getting married again. I think everybody should experience that.
You want to have another child, kids, more kids?
I don't want to close the door on that, but I don't see myself having another child. My upbringing, like I said, my mother and father are still married. I know that's very rare nowadays, but they're still married. And, in my mind, I always wanted that. I never wanted to, have a split family and, like, not be a part day to day of my son's life. So, that's very hard for me. So I couldn't ever see myself,
going through that again.
Ever.
Right,
like, that's the hardest part of, I think, any breakup. Like, nobody, what Jay-Z say, Sagittarius, nobody wins when the family breaks up.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Man,
as far as
just,
single on the beach
single.
in Hawaii?
Yeah, on the beach in Hawaii. Definitely.
Hollywood.
Yeah, man, all of that. Just, traveling.
Where you see yourself in a relationship with your ex-wife? Where do you see that?
I'm getting back to where we started, being cool, being able to, tolerate each other, stay in the same room without the back and forth, the fire drama, the challenging. Just getting past a lot of bullshit, like, really being in Pluto with the thought, like, it's nothing personal. Like, even when I talk to people now and they think that, all the stuff that transpired between me and her, like, they think it's something personal between me and her. And it's like, no, I understand Sagittarius energy. Even though sometimes when I get on the phone, it's kind of hard for me, to
go through the dialogue.
Yes, because it's like, here we go again. Like, I'm on the phone with this actor, and it's like, can we just cut? I just want to just like break the fourth wall and say, can we cut the bullshit, please? But I know I can't, so that's always challenging for me. But, in the next 5 years, I hope to have that clear, and we could just, have real dialogue with each other. Because the most important thing is, our son.
Where do you see yourself 5 years with your son?
Kicking it, hanging out, instilling those virtues, and really giving him the game. And being able to, see him on a regular basis.
How old is he?
5 years, he'd be 17. He'd be right there knocking on the doors of, manhood, and really wanting to know who his father is, and, what his father stood for, and I hope to be able to give him that information. He's going to have a lot of questions. He went through a lot of stuff, and he's seen a lot of things that he shouldn't have seen at his age. So, as far as, relationship playing out between his mother and father. Like, he saw the end of our relationship. Not a lot of children are privy to seeing how their parents broke up. Like, no bullshit. Like, he saw everything that transpired all the way up into me and his mother separating. He saw the situation, the incident that caused us to separate. You know, so that's tough on any person, especially air sign. You know, which the theme of air sign is tragedy, and what happened is very tragic. So I hope to be able to have a conversation with my son about that when the time comes. And just really be there for him, explain and kind of usher that through. The last thing I want him to think is that his father wasn't there for him. That was not the case. So I want to make sure that we have a conversation about that.
Well, hopefully this video play a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Just documented it. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can always bring it back later.
We'll blow back, on my channel. We'll really dive in and,
I'm going to put your channel in the description.
Get a lot more comfortable with talking about exactly what transpired. It's not easy for me, as you can still see. I still kind of struggle with dialogue.
I think this was good, though. I think this is good. We didn't really go too deep. We kind of just, stay on the surface. I think this was good.
Right, even though I want to blow all the way back and just air all that shit out.
We're not going to do that today. We ain't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think this is good. This is a good start, though. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm going to put a link to Jae Can channel, in the description. I appreciate everybody who's watching, and everybody who subscribes to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to Jae Can channel. I've been keeping, trying to keep videos going this week. Tomorrow, actually, I got to go to Wisconsin, so I don't think I'm going to drop a video. I ain't going to be back till probably late Sunday or Monday. So, I will probably see y'all on Monday morning. I appreciate y'all following the channel. Make sure you follow Jae Can channel. Anything you want to say before we get out of there?
Man, shout out to everybody out there, man. That's it.
Shout out to everybody out there. Simple, basic. Lighters.
The lighters up.
Appreciate y'all watching. We got it here. You.